It's just this beautiful, abundant, powerful, way powerful than me, way powerful than my mind. It's this essence, energy, genuine energy flow, I also call it. It just flows through me when I get out of the way, when I surrender the ego. And I said, just guide my pen. That's it. Just get out of the way. Just guide my pen. And what happened is a flow happened. Not one single zinger. Now, she's obviously, I've already gave you the list, and there's more. She's obviously done some wrong things, what you would call right and wrong things, some bad things, some hurtful things, some painful things for the children, for me, obviously. But that wasn't this chance to keep on doubling down on that. She's not listening to that anyway. But what am I going to do to talk about how I'm 100% responsible for this resentment that I have? 100% responsible. Not her. I'm the one holding on to it. She'll just keep doing what she does. She probably doesn't even have any feelings. She's lost her feelings. I mean, it's just, or maybe she never had them. I don't know the answer to that, but I have feelings, and I don't want those feelings to get in the way. I don't want the children to see that. She doesn't hold the key to my prison, just like the guy that kidnapped me when I was 13. Painful experience, but I'm not going to hold on to it, which I did, and led to some pretty bad times, including death, attempted suicide. I remember I tried to commit suicide. I had neckties, and I tied them around. I'd just come back from this horrible 5 days, took me away, and wouldn't let me out of this ghetto hotel room, this serial pedophile, acting like a father figure. I'm thinking to myself out loud right now, geez, I have a lot of betrayal in my life. This guy, the ultimate in betrayal. And I remember being in that hotel room with this, it just smelled like urine, and it was this horrible steam radiator. I was on the floor trying to get away from him. And I came back. My mom said, don't ever talk about it. So I held on to that secret. You're only as sick as your secrets. And that's something that Lotus has. She actually told me, where she's from, Japan, secrecy is a virtue. I assure you, if you can listen to me and take my suggestion or my advice or whatever you want to call it, secrecy is the opposite of a virtue. It's toxic. You're building toxins not only for you, but for everyone around you. It's contagious. So I held on to the secret. My mom said, "Don't tell anyone," and that was not a good thing for me. I tried to commit suicide. Had these neckties, had a noose, and I was dangling, choking. And my mom comes in. This is kind of symbolic of my life. She comes in. Oh my God, what are you doing? Those are new neckties. Get up. And I just got up. So I was just kneeling, basically. I think part of me wanted attention. Part of me wanted to die. Part of me wanted to die so other people would regret it. I could go to my own funeral, hide behind a tree, see what they say about regretting treating me in the way they did. So yeah, these themes keep popping up. But the guy doesn't hold the key to my prison. He's not my warden. That guy, I completely forgive. His name's Ben Rauscher. I completely forgive him for what he did. I am free. And I mean literally. I have no issue talking about it. I share it also. I share just like this podcast. I share so other people have hope and other people have an understanding. You're not alone. If you're dealing with someone who's treating you poorly, or you don't understand their behavior, it becomes very puzzling and all of that, I am here to let you know you're not alone. And the head is a bad neighborhood. Don't go in alone. I'm here for you. There's a lot of people here, the support groups and things like that. We're not victims either. But I would be a victim if I stayed in that space of, oh my God, he's destroyed my life and I'm going to continue drinking and using and all that kind of stuff, which I stopped. Crimes. Oh my God, I committed so many crimes. Sometimes I think that's what's going on here. Any difficulties I have, my sister doesn't speak to me in years. I mean, whatever these cases are, oh, maybe it's my karma. I question this. But I also lived this life of accountability. And that's what happened. I wrote this letter. I said, go ahead, Big G, just guide the pen. And what unfolded so naturally was a complete mea culpa, admission, apology, regrets. It just came out of me with zero zingers. I did this because that was her thing that annoyed me, by the way. Whatever the situation was, she could not apologize, and she'd always have an excuse for the behavior. Just recently, when she lied to the kids about going to Japan because she was going with her cult leader and didn't tell them that, she lied to them. She said, it was because of your dad. I didn't want to cause any problems. So I'm like, no, the chaos or whatever you're calling it, it's caused by you lying. That's what she doesn't understand. The root of it is her lying, which she does constantly. The kids don't trust her anymore. I don't trust her anymore. She made that script. Lies like as easily as breathe. So, but this did not include that. This letter did not include that at all. It was none of that. It was my lies that I told. Everything in that letter was all had to do with what I did to bring this forth. All the mistakes I made, the lying, cheating, stealing that I did. That's what the letter contained. It was it was truly a surrender, which felt victorious. And at that moment, when I finished 22 pages, handwritten, single spaced, just flew out of me of basically letting her off the hook too, like you've done nothing wrong. And I meant it. You've done nothing wrong. Even though she had done those things, which I will get to even more, believe it or not, there's more. This cult leader has taken her down a road of debauchery and dishonesty. But let me get back to the other. So obviously, I'm not completely clean from the letter because some of this is still there. This frustration, this upset, this pain, sadness. It's all there. The cornucopia of feelings. And they vacillate. They go back and forth. I'm free. I'm not free. Imprisoned. But this was truly, that was a bust out of prison because at the time I was going, what the hell happened? What in the world happened? How did this happen? How did this great family suddenly break up? And so I landed, checked in the hotel. She was with her sister at the time. She happened to be in Maui at the same time. And I texted her. I said, there'll be a letter waiting for you at the front desk of our hotel. If you're into it, we'll be at the pool. If you're not, then I let go. We're at the pool. I get a text from her. She says, I'm halfway through the first page. I'm already crying. It hit her hard. It might have hit her ego too, because it really was about complimenting her and praising her and letting her know she did nothing wrong and saying how beautiful she is and how I think that she's amazing and all that stuff was in there. And I meant it. And love was in this whole letter. It was a love letter as well. It wasn't saying we need to get back together, anything like that. That's not ever the goal. The goal is I want peace between us. I want the children to have an example of how a couple should, what she called conscious uncoupling, conscious, whatever, another term that was BS. But at this time, it took her like a long time to read these 22 pages. She comes, we get together, embrace, crying. I was crying because it really did feel like this release. The kids witnessed it. It was beautiful. We spent the rest of the time together. Went to dinners, we played charades. Her sister visited with her boyfriend. It was amazing. Just activities, beach, frisbee, playing, all that stuff. We just ended up together doing this on this Maui break, this Maui vacation. I mean, not the entire time together, but we were together. And the kids, our son said, it was the greatest day of his life. And this broke talks about being prideful, proud, and all this stuff. It's all selfish that she's proud of. I was proud of this connection with this higher source that allowed me to get out of my ego and write this note that leveled the playing field, that brought us into peace and serenity and love, divine love, not in love, not needing sex, not wanting to be back together, but just love. That's where we're coming from. That's the game playing. That's the laughter. That's all the joy. That's what love is. And we had it. It lasted the entire time. It lasted when we came back. We went back, guess what? We went back to Agape, the place where we met. There were people that we knew from the past embracing, hey, went and helped her find a pick, helped her with a bed, getting a bed in a truck and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah. Game nights. I would have her over for game nights. This is what I want the children to see. This is what I want them to see is we brought you on this planet because we love one another. We don't need to be in love, but we love one another. And then it started again. She went right back to hate. When I look at her eyes, so detached. And I said before, it feels demonic. It feels like a demonic possession. I can't attribute it to anything else, but if you could see this, and she puts on this phony image, like, oh, I'm so happy and free, and I tap and I breathe and I teach breath work and all this stuff. Hateful. So I told you she already had me arrested for false charges. She was the one who was violent, charged me, scratched me, pulled my clothes off, the whole deal. Not off, but stretched them and everything else. And I was the one who was arrested. I'm the big white guy. And that's just the way the society is. We're all going to look at the big guy as, of course, I have a big mouth. I became popular, kind of semi-famous comedian. One time I was more famous than others. Whatever. I'm going to be the guy, the asshole. I'm going to be the guy who's definitely the abuser. All of those things. That's what I'm going to be. And by the way, in this amends letter, I did get to the parts where it's abusive or it's domineering or controlling or whatever it is. Owned it. Owning that stuff. Understanding that we're not perfect, but we are perfect. We are. We are whole. We are perfect. And we don't need a guru to fill in those holes that aren't even there. We don't need someone else to verify who we are, influence who we are. This woman broke as an influencer, plain and simple. She's influenced other people to follow her and make a mob. She talks about feminine, being a feminist and so forth. So there was that freedom that we had for a few weeks, and then she started. And I asked her for something when she came over. She can't face me when we're dropping off the kids. She stays in the car, and it's just so passive aggressive. And I'm like, hey. And I literally walked up to her, and she told me when she had me arrested, she regretted it. I'm so sorry, but, in her own way. Claiming that I did it by accident. I didn't have another choice because they would have arrested me, or whatever it was. She makes this big story up. She doesn't tell the truth, that she lied, and I held her phone up. I said, I'll tell you that if you tell me the truth, I'll hand the phone back. And instead of, she went into a complete rage, a rage spiral an animal. She became an animal attacking. But they're going to believe her, of course. So it was horribly painful to have that happen. A man of integrity being arrested and sitting on a slab, and it's just so humiliating. It's this bright light, you can't sleep. I had COVID all night. It was just awful. They have this literally like a scummy phone, like you have to make a call. Call the bail bondsman. It cost me $20,000 to get out of there. She just costs me so much money, and she doesn't care. She's unconscious. It's my hard work, and I don't come from anything. I never inherited a dime, literally not a dime, only debt. And yet